And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome to the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. How y'all doing? It's almost the end of the year, y'all. Almost the end of the year. I hope you guys are doing well. I am, y'all know what I'm doing. Sitting here checking a quick sound check and everything. Looks like we're good. The soundboard's working. I'm here, man. I wanted to do this show, man. Have we created Generation Zombie? So it's like, Saint, why y'all, what's the deal, bro? Look at you, bro. You looking, it's like, what's going on? You know what I mean? I wasn't on yesterday. Like, y'all know I be on the grind. Y'all know I be doing my thing. I wasn't on. Well, let's just say that I've been dealing with life. Feel me? Like, things come up, and I've been dealing with that. So one of the things I want to definitely say is, as an old dude, man, there's two things I've realized, man, that I've really, really come to understand in this life, in our life here, like in America, like in the West or whatever. Like the two hardest things you'll ever do is be in a marriage and be a parent. Two of the hardest things you'll ever do. So, I'm dealing with some parent stuff, like having kids are great. They get here, little kids, and they're rolling around, crawling around. They learn to walk, all that good stuff, ride their bike, hit their first base hit, catch their first pass, whatever, shoot their first shot, get their, first free throw, get their first jump shot, get a bunny, whatever. But as they get older, when they become teenagers, I'm telling you, you want to see how you are under pressure. You want to really know what it's like to deal with, some real stuff. That's when you're going to deal with it, dealing with teenagers. Dealing with teenagers. Like right now, it ain't really funny to me. Give me 6 months or so, it'll be funny. As a comedian, that's what we do. We take the greatest pain and we turn it into, we turn it into, we turn it into funny. We turn it into, comedy classic stuff. That's what we do. But you got to go through it first. And my daughter's fine or whatever. It's just, she did some dumb kid stuff, And with the use, with technology and the stuff that we have, kids have the opportunity to get themselves into quite a bit of trouble quick. Before they know it, they're in over their head kind of thing. They don't realize what they're doing. Why? Because they're kids. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been kind of, dealing with that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna bore you with the details. When it's all said and done, I'll probably, I might touch on it at some point down the line. You know what I mean? But right now, we're not gonna talk on it. But just understand, being a parent and being in a relationship is hard. When you are a single parent and you get to deal with these issues, right? That's when you really understand when people talk about that nuclear family. That's what they mean. I mean, that's the best way to raise a child is with the nuclear family, mom, dad, in the same home, all that. I don't care what anybody says. You got these people out here. I don't need a man. I don't need a woman. I am mom and dad. I am dad and mom. Yeah, that's all nonsense, bro. It's all nonsense. Superman, with all his ability, wouldn't be able to just handle a kid on his own, especially if it's his kid. You got a kid running around with X-ray vision. You got a kid running around with laser beam for eyes, superpowers. Could you imagine if Superman had a son or a daughter, the kind of stuff that they'd be getting themselves into, the kind of damage they will be wreaking on the world, and you got to come along and deal with it? We got Brother Mike in the house. What's good, fam? Good to see you. I always appreciate the support. Always appreciate the support, man. You're always here a day one, brother. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. Yeah, man, we're almost monetized. We're about 160 watch hours away. It's like real close. If we don't make it by New Year's, it'll be soon after New Year's. I guarantee it. I'll definitely keep pumping up content to get those views up. But yeah, man, let's get into it. So like parents and stuff, it is extremely difficult. It is. Why is it so difficult? Well, our culture is shifting. Not shifting. Our culture has shifted. Right? Our culture has definitely shifted. So we're going to look at some articles. We're going to look at some stuff. We're going to talk about some parenting styles. We're going to look at what's going on here in America And so we could talk about what I mean by we have created Generation Zombie. We have a generation of kids out here right now that they don't care about nothing, right? They don't know anything because the education system is broke. We don't put any value on education. They have parents who take care of everything. So you have these children with zero accountability, right? You got all these things like this. Everybody gets a trophy stuff, timeout, all this other kind of stuff. We are destroying our generation one child at a time. We've been doing this for a while, but now it's gotten to a point where the equilibrium has shifted. There's been a shift. And we don't prepare these kids for the world as it is today. We just don't. We got these kids, we send them out into the world, and the real world deals with them. Like, gone are the days when you had the neighborhood police officer would keep their eye on little Bobby. You know what I mean? Keep their eye on little Sally. They do something wrong, they just drag them home and tell you, and they smack them around a little bit, and you tell the parents give them a spank or whatever. Nah, they catch your kid doing something wrong, boy, your kid might be looking at some time. They might be looking at a misdemeanor. They might be looking at a felony. System doesn't care, right? And once you in the system, you in the system. You know what I mean? So it boils down to the parents. Like, what's going on with me, really, at the end of the day, it boils down to me. It's failures on my end as a parent. Like, well, I should have been doing this. I should have been doing that. Whatever. But you got those parents out there who first thing they do is they look for blame. They look to scapegoat. And we got some articles we're going to look at that talks about this. And people, if we don't change, man, y'all can kiss this society goodbye. If we don't change, somebody's going to take over. I don't know if it's going to happen from within. It may happen from without, but somebody is going to take over. I mean, it is what it is. So we're going to start, man. I got a few articles here, man. Let's talk about helicopter parents, right? Let's talk about helicopter parents and what that is and why is that bad? You know what I mean? So that's the wrong one. Okay, I can deal with that. And yeah, y'all can hear my tone. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm on fire right now. I don't even want to be. This is part of pushing through stuff. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I don't want to do this right now. I don't, but I've committed. We got this thing, and it has to go. Like the old people used to say back in the day, man, the show must go on. So, let's talk about helicopter parents, man. And to me, like, this is where it all really starts, man. You got these helicopter parents. You got these parents out here who are doing their thing. It's one of those. I don't know. They want this utopia. They think life is all, rose-colored glasses. It's all cotton candy and candy canes or whatever. And they're doing their thing with their parents and they're as parents, and they're making these kids bad adults. You know what I mean? They're making these kids horrible for society. This is just my opinion. So this is Grow by WebMD. And this article was written November of this year. 7 signs you might be a helicopter parent. Number 1 of 7, you fight your child's battles. Your daughter comes home in tears after an argument with a friend. What do? If you answer, call the friend's mom to work out the problem. You need to take a step back. Real talk. And this happens all the time. I see it. I've seen it at elementary school. I'm seeing it in middle school. This happens all the time. Try this instead. Be a support system, but let them talk it out. Teach them how to calm their emotions, then help them explore ways they and their friend can work it out on their own. I say take it a step even further. Don't do shit. Be there for your kids if they want to talk to you. Don't do nothing. She came home crying, so what? What's wrong with you? Oh, Sally said I had a big head. Oh, you do got a big head. How about that? Those are just words. Those words don't mean nothing. Just go check on your kid and let them know, encourage them. But that's not a problem, the way I see it. That's not something that has to get to the executive level. You can handle that at your level. This is what you need to learn how to handle at your level, because one day you're going to be at the executive level. You know what I mean? Number 2, You do their schoolwork. This is a big one. This is a big one. People get on me all the time because I don't do my child's schoolwork. I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. It's for them. But they're going to get a bad grade. Yeah, if they don't do the work. If they don't figure it out, yeah, they're going to get a bad grade. I'll help them figure it out, but they got to do the work. Kids will sit back and let you do all the work. I see so many parents, these kids, like for science fair, these kids come into science fair with all kind of stuff. You look at what they're doing, and like, the parents did that. You absolutely know it. I don't understand that. Well, I just don't want my kid to feel bad. What you mean you don't want your kid to feel bad? What are they going to do when they grow up? You know what I mean? That's life. You're going to have days when you feel bad. It's going to be trials and tribulations. You're not going to conquer every battle. You're not going to be victorious every time. And if you raising your kids to feel that they are going to be victorious every time, then that's on you for failing to prepare them. Failing to prepare your kid for the world we live in. What We Know podcast, Brother Rob's in the house. What's good, bro? I see you. What's happening? Thanks for coming through, man. Like I said, we're going to be off energy a little bit, man. Like I said, man, I'm having, it's I'm having one of those weeks. One of those weeks, bro. I ain't even crazy about this time of year anyway. And then on top of it, you know what I mean? Got to deal with some parent stuff. Ugh. But I learned as a young kid that I had to fix my own problems. I learned that when I was in elementary school. So as an adult, it's not a big thing. It's just something you got to push through. And that's what I know. I know I got to push through it. But we're creating these kids, thanks to these helicopter parents and whatnot, we're creating these kids that don't understand that. So doing your schoolwork, put on your preschooler shoes, solve a hard math equation for your teen. There are plenty of ways to swoop in and save your kids from feeling frustrated. But healthy levels of stress can actually boost their problem-solving skills, right? And you're right. It's just one of those things. And it's like, try this instead. Let your kids figure out on their own. Praise their efforts and then stick with hard situations. Praise their efforts when they stick with hard situations. That's what you should be doing. Like, your kids are going to fail sometime, bro. It is what it is. And brother Mike, I see you, man. I really appreciate all of I see what you're doing. You're always right there with the interactive chat, man. It's just a couple of us in here today, bro. I really appreciate you, man. Straight up. You know what I mean? And brother Rob, I feel you, bro. Keep pushing. Absolutely, I'm gonna keep pushing, man. Got to. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see the turnaround. That's the thing with this YouTube, man. You see the ups and you see the downs. I ain't gonna come on here and put on a fake face and, be out or whatever. I ain't doing that. We're gonna keep it 100 over here on YouTube. That's why people come to YouTube. That's why the mainstream TV media is going away. People people want the real. They're getting tired of fake, which is weird because they don't want to prepare their kids for the real. They are faking it to their kids. I don't even understand that. But parents are out there doing their schoolworks. You know what I mean? Number 3, if you're a helicopter parent, you coach their coaches. Now, this is a tough one. I mean, you want your kids to have every advantage, or you want to share with your child, especially like if you play football, your kids playing football or basketball or baseball or soccer or volleyball, whatever it may be. But as a parent, you got to tone that back. Go sit on the visitor side when you watch the game. Sit all the way up in the nosebleeds, whatever. Sit on the visitor side. You can still watch your kids. You're still there for them. Because it's hard not to want to go talk crazy to the coach. You know what I mean? So, and even my dude, Jay Swans, was talking about this one day. He was like, yeah, he was on the field practice and he didn't get a starting spot because he's better than the other kids, but other kids were the coach's son. Went complaining to his father, like, can you go talk to the coach for me, Dad? It's like, nope. If you want to start and slide, just work harder. Be so good, be great. Be so great that they have to start you even over their own kid. And that's what Jay Swans did. That's the kind of parenting that I'm talking about. That's what we should be doing with our children, in my opinion. So you coach their coaches. If you shout advice from the stands during your kids' games or corner the coach to talk after every practice, it might be time to sideline yourself. Facts. Sports can teach your child how to deal with conflict, work towards a goal, be a leader, and cope with defeat. But it has to be their team, not yours. Absolutely. And here's the thing. There's no defeat anymore because everybody gets a trophy, right? We're going to get to that later. Try this instead. If they ask for your help or you can see that they have a problem, teach them how to talk to the coach themselves. And that's real talk. That's the whole point of being involved in athletics and stuff like that, right? So we're trying to teach our kids how to work within different groups, how to work as teams, how to work towards goals. It talks about sacrifice, talks about responsibility. That's what all this is. Like, I love football not because I was good at football or whatever. I loved it because I learned these things. People were part of a team. I had to earn my spot. I had to work hard to keep it. It was always somebody trying to take my slot. And I was out there making good plays and being smart, you know what I mean? Keeping my head up and, practicing hard, going hard on practice, going hard during the off season, studying, watching film. All that helped me be a better person, helped me be a better adult growing up. So all that, bro. You can't do all that if your parents coming in there, helicoptering, hovering all over you, taking care of every little thing, not letting you deal with what you need to deal with. You can't do that. As a parent, with your sports and whatnot, make sure you're there to get the equipment. Make sure you get you're there to get the kid there on time. Make sure, make sure you're there so they see you there. That's huge for children to see their parent there. But that's not your job to take over to be the coach. That's not your job to harass the coach. It's not your job to tell other kids what to do. You know what I mean? If you want to do all that, be a coach. Be a coach. Here's what it is. You learn in life lessons. See, number 4, you keep your kids on a short leash. Right? Everyone does this to a certain extent. I mean, we didn't even have a leash. We were just we were outside kids, like outside cats. We couldn't come in. But it was a different era back then. We was running around doing all kind of stuff. You weren't allowed to be, you ain't gonna be up under some grown up. We was out there, we were free range kids. Times are different. So you stick around for drop-off birthday parties. You drive your teens to friends' houses, even when they're only a short walk away. You send daily check-in texts, plural, to your college student. Sound familiar? If so, it's time to cut the apron strings and let your kids build some self-confidence. Try this instead. Create chances for them to be independent. Let them play in the yard while you stay inside or walk the dog solo. I mean, that's real talk. I'm guilty of that. You know what I mean? And as my child gets older, there's more responsibility. There's more things. Okay, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. One of the big things, like staying home by yourself. My child loves to do that. I hate doing it. But when I think back on it, by the time I was 13, not only was I home by myself, but I was watching other kids. I was responsible for other children. So, that's one of the things I got to work on as an adult, because I'm not allowing my child to learn those leadership roles. I'm not allowing my child to handle that responsibility. It's my job as a parent to recognize when my child's ready for said responsibility and then make sure that they get the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? So this right here, number 4, is something I got to work on. And I'm all about self-reflection. I mean, it's the only way you're going to get better. Self-assessment. You're a maid in your own house. This is another big one, number 5. Do you still make your first grader's bed, clean your teen's room, or do your college students' laundry? It's time to lighten your load, make your kid pitch in around the house, and you'll teach them responsibility for a lifetime. You know what I mean? Try this instead. Start with small tasks and build from there. Be clear about what you expect what you expect them to do, and praise the job well done. If it's well done, if they do a good job, tell them they did a good job. If they didn't do a good job, tell them they didn't do a good job, so they can work on it. Give them realistic goals so they can meet those goals, accomplish those goals, and they'll build that self-confidence. This, I agree with 100%. You know what I mean? And that's always going to be a problem, especially when you got teenagers. They just, I don't know why they're little messy pigs is what it is, but you got to stay on them. You got to stay on them. All right, do this. All right, do that. Give them their chores or whatever. And again, it's something else that I'm working on. All right, here go your chores. Going to do this. Take care of that. Show them how to do it. Make sure they're there. Get them ready, because once they leave the house, once they're old enough to leave the house, they're going to have to do this stuff on their own. Most kids don't know how to do it. My godson's in the United States Army. He's a team leader. He's responsible for these other young men. And he realizes they can't do nothing. Y'all heard Mandriel on this platform talking about it. He got guys who don't even know how to iron their clothes. You know what I mean? They don't know how to wash their clothes. They don't know how to use a washing machine. They don't know how to use, a vacuum cleaner. they don't understand it when it's time to go clean. They don't know what dusting is. And especially in the United States Army, at least when I was in, that was huge. You had inspections all the time. Everything had to be clean. Spick and span, that whole white glove thing. So you got to teach your kids. It starts at home. Starts with you, mom and dad. Starts at home. But you got so many men and women out there just like, whatever. Number 6, you play it too safe. Get down from up there. Don't ride so fast. Hold my hand down the slide. You would bubble wrap your kids if you could. It turns out you can protect them too much. When you don't let them take physical or mental risk, you can stunt their development. That's real talk. I am not like this at all. I'm like, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. You fall down or break something, I take it to the hospital. Insurance is fully paid up. I encourage it. Go out there, go climb that tree. Go ahead and jump off. We'll see what happens. I'm that parent. Like, man, go ahead. I don't want them playing in the street and get run over by cars, but I have no problem with them climbing on all kind of stuff, jumping off of stuff. That's how it is. You know what I mean? So they said, try this instead. Remember, the goal is to keep them as safe as necessary, not as safe as possible. Let them climb a tree or fall and scrape their knee is good for their growth as a person. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I had no problems with that at all. I can't tell you how many times my daughter got nicked up on the playground, climbing on top of stuff and falling off of stuff. It is what it is. And I'm not parent. Like, I'll tell you one time, oh, you shouldn't do that. I think you might get hurt. I don't want to do it. All right, go ahead. And they get hurt. Don't come crying to me. I told you you're going to get hurt. Hey, ain't nothing broke. You know what I mean? And 5 minutes later, they're off playing again, doing whatever. Where all these other parents come running up, is your kid okay? Like, man, it should be all right. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. Other parents picking their kids up, rocking them, taking them. You know what I mean? Like, that kid's going to have problems down the road. You know what I mean? Definitely going to have problems down the road. And the last one, 7 to 7, you can't let them fail. There's a lot of parents out there guilty of this one. Think of the last time you made a mistake. Chances are you learn from it. Your kids need to do the same. Trial and error teaches them how to make their way in the world. If you take over a project or task to do it right, they won't learn how to tackle problems in the future. Absolutely. So instead, try this. Let them make mistakes every once in a while. When they fail, encourage them to try again. Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. I'm 100%. I'm all about my kid failing. I'm all about that, yo. I'm all about it. You know what I mean? Pick yourself up. Try it again. You know what I mean? Oh, didn't work out. Go back to the beginning. Try again. Then your kids naturally want to just put it down because you ain't going, oh, pick it up. Do it. Nope, we're going to do this. Put it down if you want to, but guess what? It's still going to be there. It's going to be there tomorrow because I'm not doing it. So it's up to you. All the time. All the time. Simple stuff. Oh, you want to go to Best Buy? Well, what time is Best Buy open? Are they open today? Today's a holiday. I don't know. Look it up. Tell me. Call the store. Call the Best Buy and find out what time they're open. And then, kids would just put the phone down. Oh, it was too hard to, use your smartphone to pull the information up. Oh, you just lazy now. You just lazy. Oh, we could just go tomorrow. We ain't going until you tell me their hours of operation now. Simple as that. Stay on your kids. Make them work for shit. And if they don't work for things, they're just going to be bad. It's not like they're going to figure it out down the road. They're not. As they get older, especially once they become adults, they're not going to figure out shit. They're just not going to figure it out. You know what I mean? Brother Rod, Chris, kids have to learn how to deal with diversity. Yes, they do. They absolutely need to do that. They need to learn that. So, that's one of the things, like these people, they kind of do this stuff. So what do parents want to do? They want to use social media, right? You just want to, like when I was growing up, it was put your kid in front of the TV. But on the TV, you would have public broadcasting, bro. So I'm watching 321 Contact. I'm watching Cosmos, Sesame Street, The Electric Company, right? I'm watching documentaries. Like, we didn't have cartoons all day. There was no such thing as Cartoon Network or whatever. The internet, cable, that really didn't exist back then. You had 3 channels, NBC, CBS, ABC, and then a local affiliate. So it was like 4 channels. You know what I mean? Then you would have like the public broadcasting channel, whatever that was. You had that. You can find that. You can watch some entertainment stuff or whatever. So cartoons only came on from like 3 o'clock until 3 to 5 or something like that for a couple hours. Except Saturdays. Saturday mornings, it was cartoons. Cartoons were on all morning. So it's not like today. They could put us in front of the TV. There wasn't really nothing to watch. We was outside playing. But these days, there's nothing but content out there. From the networks to cable, you know what I mean, to different platforms like Netflix, Hulu, Apple Plus, to YouTube, Rumble. There's so many places to get content for stuff. Like, you can look up so much stuff now. It's different. You know what I mean? It's way different. So it's so easy just to take a smartphone and put it in your kids' hands and let them get on the internet or whatever. But is that good? Like, is that good, man? So I found an article I think we should check out. Right? And this article was talking about constant connection. We're talking about the internet. Right? And it says it here. I'll switch it up. It's no pictures or nothing. It's just words. I'll switch it up here. But it says, media can influence how children and teens feel, learn, think, and behave. This is why it's important to be. Understand the risks and benefits of digital media use, and how to keep them in balance for your family. So, and it talks about, constantly connected how media use can affect your child. And there's just so many kids are just connected to media just from the time that they are born. You know what I mean? Until they no longer with us. So it has a part here where it talks about kids and media use. And this is by the numbers. Recent common sense media research shows that media used by tweens ages 8 to 12 years and teens ages 13 to 18 years has risen faster in the 2 years since the pandemic than the 4 years before. The research found 8 to 12-year-olds spend an average of 5.5 hours a day on screens and consuming media. The rate climbs to over 8.5 hours a day for teens. 8.5 hours, that's a job, right? Think about that. So kids as early as 8 years old up to 18 years old, they're in front of screens for like 8 hours a day. That's insane. We were outside, right? And what are the effects of that? They're not outside. They're not exercising. Are they eating right? Probably not. They're snacking on snacks or whatever. They're not eating apples and grapes and stuff like that. Nah, they're eating cupcakes, you know what I mean? And drinking sugary drinks. You know what I mean? And they're eating leftover fried chicken. You know what I mean? Eating pizza. And they're sitting in front of a screen, playing video games or watching some sort of media or doing whatever. 8 hours, over 8 hours a day. And it continues. Among teens, 79% said they use social media and online videos at least once a week. And 32% of these said they wouldn't want to live without YouTube. And nearly 2/3, 65% of tweens said they watch TV. 64% watch online videos, and 43% play games on a smartphone or tablet every day. These numbers are crazy, but this is what we're doing. Among teens, 79% said they use social media and online videos at least once a week. And 32% of them said they wouldn't want to live without YouTube. That is crazy. And nearly 2/3, 65% of tweens, the youngins, said they watch TV. 64% watch online videos and 43% play games on a smartphone or tablet every day. And this is what we just sit on there. Here you go. I'm guilty of that. And the big thing is the games. They play games on a smartphone or a tablet every day. Right? If you got Apple product, that tablet or that phone is connected to an active form of payment, a debit card, a credit card, or something like that. And these games are designed to just, it's like gambling. It's you know what I mean? These games are designed to I want to get to the next level. I want to keep going. You know what I mean? So these kids don't stand a chance. These are undeveloped minds dealing with programming that targets grown-ups to get them to pay. Y'all have heard the stories of grown-ups who've lost their retirement because they got hooked on online slot machines or gambling, some sort of gaming or something like that. Grown-ups, people who understand money, people who completely get the concept of money and how hard it is to earn and keep it and this and that, or throwing money at these companies for these, you know, for gambling and stuff like that. If grown-ups are doing that, what makes you think kids won't be doing the same thing? And they're just sitting there. You wonder why they're so quiet, because their brains are just being inundated with this. They're falling, you know what I mean? And not to make them as victims, but this is what's going on. We're putting them in a very grown-up situation. This is what's going on. And when something goes bad, and it will go bad, what do the parents do? Helicopter parents, what do? Oh, it's not the child's fault, someone else's fault. It's not little Bobby's fault, it's not little Sally's fault. Nah, it's your fault, mom and dad. You got to own it so you can help your kids. But these are the numbers out there, right? These are the numbers. They play games every day, talking about 8.5 hours a day. Average daily screen time rate soared highest among Black and Hispanic Latino kids and those of lower income families. These teens and tweens were spending between 6.5 and 7.5 hours a day on entertainment screens. Why? Because that's the babysitter. That's the babysitter. That's why. That's the babysitter. You know what I mean? Mommy, you know what I mean? You got single parent. You're talking about blacks. We already know that's majority of those homes are single parent homes. We already know that. You know what I mean? Whoever that parent is, they got to work. We already know that. If the kid's a teen, the kid's like, yeah, they got to stay home by themselves because you can't really afford to have, you know what I mean, have them in some sort of daycare or something like that. So they're on these screens. They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. And these kids, they get hooked, man. They get hooked like a grown-up, and they're going to want to get to the next level. Buy. You know what I mean? Trying to get this money. They don't realize that the money is coming from whatever form of payment or whatever, or it is piling up. They don't understand that. The bill comes in, and then mom and or dad is looking at a bill of thousands of dollars. The kid was playing on this video game. The kid know they did wrong, but they don't understand the fallout. We live in a society where the average American family can't afford an unexpected expense of $500. They can't afford to do it. $500. You know what I mean? I can tell you stories of kids attached to these screens, playing these games or whatever, falling into this trap, spending thousands of dollars before the parents realize it. Because you imagine that. You get a bill that comes in, you got to pay all this money over a video game. Thousands of dollars, hundreds and thousands of dollars. And it's a kid being a kid. Yeah, they made a mistake. They're kids. They don't know any better. They're kids, right? They're not. It is what it is. Kids do things. This is why it's hard to be a parent. Could you imagine? And then the parent winds up, missing, I don't know, an important bill, like, oh, you can't pay insurance, or you can't pay the car note, or you short on rent because you gave the kid this tablet or whatever. You gave the kid this phone. This is what they did with it. And you failed to put the proper blocks in there. Can you imagine sitting there looking at the possibility of being homeless because this kid made a mistake? You're already working as hard as you can. Could you imagine that? Like $1,200 or something like that? $800? For some people, boy, $50. $50 is enough to break the camel's back. $50. And the stress that goes on that child because the child realized they did something wrong. And next thing you know, they're out of the house. They don't even have a place to live. Or the car gets taken away or something like that. This is why it's so difficult to parent. This is why. Brother Hayok, I see you in the chat, fam. I see you in the chat. The difference is today our memories are offloaded to the network. People don't remember phone numbers or a lot of things nowadays. And I'm guilty of that too. That's real talk. When I was a kid, I had everybody's number in my head when we were growing up, man. Back in the 80s, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my friends, you know what I mean, job, my mom's job, my dad's job, my stepmom's job. I had all these numbers. I remember these numbers. Now everything's in your phone. I didn't even think about remembering that stuff, right? You're right. Brother Hale could drop the link. I plan on dropping the link, man. Let me cook for a little bit. I'll drop the link when we get towards the end. Trust me. There's a bunch of articles here I want to get through. It's got like 4 more articles I want to get through. But this article continues in another survey. 71% of parents with younger children under 12 years old said they were concerned about their child spending too much time in front of screens. Then why don't we do anything about it? We're concerned that our kids spending too much time in front of a screen, but we put them in front of that screen, didn't we? Didn't we? And understand now it's a business, right? I'm an Android user. Android doesn't make you link any payment to your phone or anything like that. They don't make you link anything to it. There's an app store on there. If you want something, you got to put in your payment information if you want it, if it costs, or you find it for free. But Apple and the iPhone, in order to start that up, they make you link an active form of payment to get the thing going, to be able to use it when you first start. I thought that was kind of weird, but whatever. So now, be it a kid or a grown up or whoever, they're just hitting that button. If they get locked in on something, they can just hit the button. It's just boom, click it now. Get to the next level now. Take this trip now. You know, buy this thing now. Buy this service now. It's boom, 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 boom. And it's going through. Bang, it's going through. Think about that. A lot of people forget, like, oh, that's right, there's a payment locked on there. I would say this, if you're an iPhone user and you got a payment thing locked on there and your kids have access to that phone or tablet or whatever that device is, man, cancel that card. Cancel it. You know what I mean? Cancel the card. And then if your kid or somebody else is trying to purchase, it'll like, oh, you need to update your payment information or whatever. But you're going to still be able to use the phone, use the device, but it's just like, oh, you got to update it. Cancel that right now. Cancel it. If you're not the only one, cancel it. Don't even run the risk. Trust me, last thing you want to do is come home and find out that you're missing, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars because of this. Man, cancel that shit right now. And if Apple gives you a hard time, man, forget the iPhone, man. Switch over. Go somewhere else. That's a well thought out business model that they know they're going to get bread from. Y'all just look, the corporations are looking at each and every one of us, man. How can we get the money out their pocket? That's all that is. That's the easiest way to do it. The last thing you want to do with somebody who has a problem with gambling is give them access to money and the gambling, right? And the the dopamine hit. You know what I mean? It's like we're going to make everybody a fiend and we're going to give them the dope right here with an easy way to pay for it right here in little increments. $1 here, $20 there, $100 there. Yo, pay attention to what's going on, people. Pay attention. So it just doesn't make any sense. The way we're living, it just doesn't make any sense. There was another article, and I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but there's another article that I wanted to bring up the way we are dealing with our kids these days, man. Let me make this a little bigger. Look at this. Look at this. Prescription drug stats. The prescription drug statistics by age group. Prescription drug use tends to increase with age, according to the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey of 2015 to 2016. 18% of children from birth to 11 years old reportedly used prescription drugs in the past 30 days. 18% of kids. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's some stuff in the kids need. They're like, they got some real bad stuff going on and they need that, right? But still, that's pretty high. 27% of adolescents aged 12 to 19 years old reported to use prescription drugs in the past 30 days. 27, more than a quarter of kids, 12 to 19, using prescription drugs. We ain't talking about Children's Tylenol. You know what I mean? We ain't talking about some Flintstone vitamins. We're talking about prescription drugs. 27% of teenagers. You know what I mean? Of course, it's 47% of adults aged 20 to 59, almost half of adults. I take drugs for medication and high cholesterol. I take that. And I'm always trying to get off of it. Like, what do I need to do? I'm changing my diet. I'm working out more. I want to come off of that. I don't like taking pills. And 85% of adults age 60 or older take prescription drugs. That makes sense because the older you get, you need help to stay alive. I get that. Right. And then it goes into teen prescription drug misuse statistics, right? Prescription drug misuse is highest among young adults aged 18 to 25. And that's from the National Institute on Drug Abuse in 2020. So we're getting kids accustomed to and used to popping pills as soon as they come out. At birth, we're getting them on pills. 18%. Just take a pill for this, take a pill for that. There's nothing wrong with being a little uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, we shouldn't be giving kids pills, you know what I mean, just because I got a little bit of a headache. I ain't talking about like migraines is different. Like, I got a little bit of a headache or I feel a little discomfort. Man, ride that out. Eat some soup. Go to sleep. And then we get these kids used to taking pills. They get used to feeling good. I can just take this pill. I don't feel nothing. I feel good. Then they become teenagers. They're going to start looking for pills because life is hard. And they talk about prescription drug misuse. Highest among young adults aged 18 to 25. So as soon as they're 18, they go, boom, I need more. And y'all wondering why we have this, we have this, they call it epidemic with fentanyl or whatever. We all these people out here self-medicating, getting high. But they used to being high. We've been getting them high since they was born. It continues. 1 in 7 teens have taken a prescription drug without a doctor's prescription. And that's Teens Health 2018. 1 out of 7 teenagers have taken some pills that wasn't prescribed by a doctor. These are prescription drugs that weren't prescribed by their doctor. 1 in 7. And that number, I bet you, was growing. 1 out of every 7 kids. Now, you talk about the rappers, talking about lean and all that. Prescription cough syrup, codeine, right? Vicodin, Adderall. They learn that they getting this as kids. And then when they become teenagers, they taking it from their friends. They getting people who writing scripts. They buying it. It's a drug. 1 out of 7 kids. And that was 2018, so that number's gone up. 6% of high school seniors reported taking Adderall in 2017, and 12% reporting using Vicodin. National Institute on Drug Abuse in 2020. I ain't even gotten that far yet. I just mentioned it because I just mentioned those drugs because that's what's in the streets. Right? Forget about the Mollies and all that kind of stuff, man. Adderall, Vicodin, Percocets. That's all in the streets. I mean, it's just them all prescription. You know what I mean? That's all prescription stuff right there. That's crazy. 6% of high school seniors are saying that. About 4% of Americans aged 12 and older have used prescription pain relievers for non-medical reasons. That's what I'm talking about right there. Can't handle a little bit of discomfort. So they running to take prescription meds because they want to feel good, popping pills to feel good. Well, those mumble rappers, man, on rappers, what they talking about? Molly's and Percocets and all that. That's what they talking about. What Lil Wayne say, don't worry about what's in my cup is my cup. Worry about what's in your cup. Right? What took Pimp C? Lean. You know what I mean? We lost Pimp C because of it. This is real. And this is, again, how did it start? Where'd they get their first drugs from? The hands of their parents. That's where they got their first drugs from. We medicating babies as soon as they come out. That first stat, man, from age 0 to age 12. Right? Age 0. 18% of children aged 0 to 11 reportedly used prescription drugs in the past 30 days. Babies. Where they getting the drugs from mommy and daddy? From age 0 to age 11. It's coming from us. This is what we're doing. This is how we are creating Generation Zombie. Period. Going from using the devices and sitting in front of a screen to drugs, to no accountability. How you think these kids going to turn out? 23% of college students had a lifetime history of prescription drug abuse. And that's from the Journal of Substance Abuse Treatment in 2014. 23% of college students. Who's going to college? Mostly the affluent folks, right? It was hard for most poor folk to get in there and stay in there, but they get in there. But 23% of college students had a lifetime history of prescription drug abuse. Kids. That was back in 2014. We know that number done went up. It's got to be at least 33% by now, if not higher. This is crazy stuff, y'all. This is crazy stuff. Got to be that or higher. And Brother Hale can stay with me, but like I said, I'm just gonna cook for a little bit. And when I get towards the end, when I get done, I'm gonna drop the link. You know what I mean? Give me a little bit more time. And this Brother Hayoka, the game system map a natural response in people using the system. It's an input output system or a stimulus response. I think Pavlovian conditioning. Yeah, we're gonna have you on here, man, so you can talk that talk for real. You know what I mean? We definitely gonna need to. We're gonna up this conversation a little bit. So hang in there with me, bro. I'm gonna drop the link, and that's for you. That's for Nidus as well. Salute DL in the chat room. Salute to you, Nidus. Welcome. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. We're talking about our kids. We're talking about how we've managed to create Generation Zombie. Yep. Some used to feel period. Yep. I hear you. I hear you, Nidus. Some use that just, yeah. These numbers are scary, yo. These numbers are scary. 23% of college students had a lifetime history of prescription drug abuse. Abuse, almost a quarter, almost 1 in 4. That's 23% of college students. And again, that was back in 2014, so we know that number is way up there. It's closer to 1 in 3 now. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. About 4% of Americans aged 12 and older have used prescription pain relievers for non-medical reasons. How'd that happen? I bumped my knee and I'm crying. Mommy cut you half a Vicodin and give it to you. And you 12 years old. You 9 years old. Kid making noise and won't go to sleep. You know what I mean? So what do? Cut you a Vicodin. Knock you out like a light. Cut you a sleeping pill in half. Here, take the sleeping pill. This is what grown-ups are doing to their children. That's illegal, y'all. But this is what we're doing. I don't want my kid to feel any pain. Life is pain. So you're going to teach your kid to be a drug addict. I'm just trying to tell y'all, man, we need to figure this out. We need to figure this out. Prescription drug statistics by race and ethnicity. In the United States, prescription drug use is more common among non-Hispanic white persons. 50%. I'm just stunned right now. Let me read that again. In the United States, prescription drug use is more common among non-Hispanic white persons, 50%, followed by non-Hispanic black persons, 45%, Hispanic, 37%, and non-Hispanic Asian persons, 33%. These numbers come from the Centers of Disease Control, 2019. All them numbers have gone up. That is insane. 50% of white people are on drugs, prescription drugs. That's insane. Followed by non-Hispanic black. So black folks at 45%. 45% of black folks walking around here on scripts. Hispanics, 37%. Non-Hispanic Asian persons, 33%. Jesus. Dude, like, where did you learn this from? You learned it from your parents. They giving you the dope right off rip. American Indians and Alaska Natives have the highest rates of non-medical prescription painkiller use, 6.9%. Followed by Hispanic persons, 4.5%, white persons, 4.3%, and black persons, 3.6%. And these numbers are from, I don't know what this is, SAMHSA. I think it's probably some sort of medical organization or something like that. I'm afraid I don't know. I don't know that acronym. Opioid misuse is highest among Native American individuals. Right. And then I'm not going to get into the prices like drug prices and all that because it's out of control. We are giving our kids drugs. We are getting our kids hooked. We are turning our kids into fiends or zombies or whatever you want to call them. We're doing that as parents. I took my daughter in because she had, y'all know, remember my daughter had a little virus. She was sick. She was sick for a week. Flu-like symptoms, but it wasn't the flu. She didn't have the beer bug, anything like that. You know what I mean? So I took her in. The doctor was trying to prescribe her some meds. I'm like, no, we don't need any. I don't want to give my kids drugs if I don't have to. She can suffer a little bit. Ain't nothing but a headache. Ain't nothing but a little nauseous stomach, whatever. She can drink some club soda, man. You know what I mean? Something like that, steady her stomach. Now, of course, if we need to do something because she got something for real, yeah, of course, we're gonna do what we got to do. But I'm not trying to. Every time I go to the doctor, every time I take my kids to the doctor, they're trying to prescribe something. Nah, I don't want that. Oh, you want something for the pain? No, I don't want anything for the pain. I wake up every day in pain. I'm in pain right now. Pain is good, people. Lets you know you are alive. Shout out to the old soldiers out there. Pain is a good thing. I dread the day I wake up and I don't feel nothing. You know what I mean? I'm probably not here no more. Pain is not bad. We in a society where people don't want to feel nothing. Everything's supposed to be perfect. Yeah, it's not how it works, y'all. Shit ain't perfect. We are getting our kids hooked on product. We getting our kids hooked on drugs, which alters their mind. We're getting our kids hooked on video games and gaming and all that. Alters their mind. We're not giving them any responsibility. We're not teaching them nothing. And when life finally kicks them in the teeth, what are they gonna do? They're gonna self-medicate. That's what they do, Brother Hayoka. The bad part is that the exposure to these systems take place during a time when the brain is pruning neurons ages 2 to 10. Yeah, the brain is developing. This is what we're doing. We're exposing them to things that adults can't handle. Fully developed, grown-up brains can't handle. We're exposing kids to that. And we're sitting around shaking, scratching our heads like, I don't understand what's going on. Our babies are coming out. They're not even a year old yet, and we're giving them prescription drugs. And little Johnny grows up to get hooked on heroin, fentanyl, and all the rest. And here you are. I don't know how this should have possibly happened. You gave them the drugs. You gave it to them and it was free. They don't even understand the concept of money. They just know I need to feel good. Give me more. Give me more. As their body and their brain is still developing. What's wrong with us? Nightish. We don't need no constitution. Leave those kids alone. Leave those kids alone. That's it, man. The Wall, Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall. We don't need no education. We don't need no self-control. Damn good point, Nightish. Hey, teachers, leave us kids alone. Just another brick in the wall. Damn. Excellent point. Excellent point. We don't need no education. We don't need no self-control. Damn. That's where we are, ain't it? That's where we are right now. There's no self-control. There's no education. Americans are dumb. Right? You just see it all the time. Fresh and Fit put off some woman, full-grown woman. Full-grown woman. I want to say she was in her late 30s or 40s. Got half her body showing through some sheer little thing, like, and she thinks she all that, whatever, man. Wasn't even that fly, right? Full-grown, post-war woman. Couldn't name, I think it was 2 countries or 3 countries. She couldn't do it. She felt embarrassed and left. They had to get her. Shout out to Zena. Zena had to put her out because she wouldn't even leave. We don't need no education. She just like, I'm just going to use my body to get what I want. I don't need no education. Yes, you do. We don't need no self-control. The fact that she wore what she wore on that show is no self-control. Women go on that platform. And don't get me wrong. I love Fresh and Fit. They're my dudes. That platform is definitely needed. But it just goes with the lyrics. We don't need no self-control. There's no self-control. Men and women today are out of control. Just give me the drugs, bro. Just give me the weed, bro. Let me smoke on that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Give me the drink, bro. That's where we at right now. You know what I mean? Nightish and proud to be dumb. Fight you about it. Delete about it. Yeah, cancel you about it. Real talk. Nightish cooking, y'all. Cooking tonight. That's real talk, though. That's where we are. That's what we doing with our freedom. That's what we doing with our freedom. Put my life on the line for these freedoms, man. This is what people are doing. Just squander it. That's another show. And the corporations don't care, man. It's all about making money, y'all. It's all about making money. Brother Hayoko, I'm going to drop the link in about 20 minutes. The corporations don't care. They don't care. It's all about making money. They don't care. Instagram's talking about making an Instagram for kids. Right? But here's a Forbes article. This is from Forbes. Here's how Instagram harms young women. According to research, young women are most protected resource in our society. Women are the most protected sex, the most protected demographic in America. I'm not trying to, say that to make feminists mad or this, that, and the third. I'm not. But women are the most protected. Even the most protected class in this country is under attack, and they're going to let the corporations get them. Instagram harms young women. And this is Forbes. Shout out to them. You know what I mean? This was October 5th of 2021. Not a brand new article, but there's plenty of articles out there. Right? So in September, a Facebook whistleblower revealed research to the Wall Street Journal suggesting that Instagram use negatively impacted impacted teen girls' body image. The government and public seem surprised to learn that Instagram might be harming young women. In reality, researchers have been studying the effects of social media on adolescent girls for years and have long had a clear understanding of its negative impact. Y'all dig that? In other words, this ain't new. This ain't new. This has been going on for years. For years. You know what I mean? So people were surprised, but the government and the public seems surprised to learn that Instagram might be harming young women. Oh, what do you mean? The Instagram, this is harming? We don't understand. How can this is such a innocent thing? It's just pictures. It's just, how can this be? In reality, researchers have been studying the effects of social media on adolescent girls for years and have long had a clear understanding of its negative impact. Again, this is Forbes, y'all, from 2021. Look this up. Check it out. This is Forbes. And it goes on to list what the negative impacts are. Some of them, not all of them. This is not, it doesn't even do the whole report. The report was just too long. But this is just to show you that the most protected class in America, women, in particular young women, are at risk from Instagram use, from social media use. The powers that be know it, and they don't care. Why? They're making too much money. In fact, they're making so much money that they're going to go after children now. Instagram is planning to roll out Instagram for kids. It's coming. And what do we do as parents? We just put it right there in front of them. Here you go, little Sally. Here you go, little Billy. Mom, can you help me set up my Instagram profile? Mom, how do I use the filters? Mom, I'm not getting enough likes. Number one, eating disorder risks increase with social media use. Study after study shows social media use is linked to higher risk of eating disorders. So many studies have been completed on body image and eating disorders relating to social media. That reviews of this research have already been completed. One review of a whopping 67 studies on the topic was published 6 years ago. 6 years ago in 2015. Their conclusion, the use of the internet and particularly appearance-focused social media, right? And that's what Instagram really is associated with the heightened body image and eating concerns. Developmental and characteristics may make adolescents particularly vulnerable to these effects. 67 studies all came to the same conclusion. This shit's bad for kids, bro, especially girls. This is going to lead to some sort of eating disorder. They're worried about how they looked, right? They're teenagers. That's when your hormones are going crazy. That's like the worst time anyway, right? And particularly appearance-focused social media. Appearance-focused social media is bad. Like point blank. Right? Number two, depression, lower self-esteem, appearance anxiety, and body dissatisfaction are all associated with Instagram use. These are all studies, multiple studies on this subject. One study examined the frequency of Instagram use and found it was linked with all of these negative outcomes. And that was just one study. It's linked, just one study, right off rip. Yeah. Instagram use is linked to depression, lower self-esteem, appearance anxiety, body dissatisfaction. Just to name a few. These studies go back at least a decade plus. This ain't new information. And yet, Instagram is marching along. Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and all the rest. Posting selfies impact mood. One study published in 2018 found that college-age women who took and posted selfies reported worse mood and felt less attractive. Increasingly, these negative outcomes occurred even when allowing participants to retake and retouch their photos. Y'all know I'm a heathen. I'm not all about the Bibles and all that, but they talk about that, right? Being vain. Isn't that a cardinal? That's one of the cardinal sins. Isn't that a deadly? That's one of the sins right there. They're just talking about being vain. Vanity. Posting selfies impacts mood. College-age women who took and posted selfies reported worse mood and felt less attractive. Increasingly, these negative outcomes occurred even when allowing participants to retake and retouch their photos. And if anyone's ever been cool with a female, cool enough with a woman who will like show you how they get down when it comes to taking a picture and how many pictures they take, the same picture, and how many filters, they will take hundreds. I'm not even exaggerating. Hundreds of pictures, scroll through them, delete. No, they finally find like maybe a group of 20 that they like. Go through those, put filters on, then go through those pictures and narrow it down to like 2 or 3 that they like. Put some more filters on, boom, post it. And if they don't get a certain amount of likes in a certain amount of time, they'll remove it. This isn't just college-age women. You know what I mean? It's like all women. The young girls don't do it as much until they become teenagers. Like when they hit college age is when all the other girls are telling them it's like this competition, right? They got to look like whatever. I got to look like Kylie Jenner or whoever. I got to look like Angelina Jolie or what. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know who these little kids are looking at these days. You know what I mean? But they know, going back to 2018, that this is a problem, especially for women. Dudes don't do that. Dudes don't do that. Go to dudes' Instagrams where you see, them in the bathroom taking a picture of their reflection or them at the gym or whatever. They got to go to Fresh and Fit and they got to get DMs on demand so they understand that there's a system to it. There's a method to it. There's game. And guys are still switch it up for the game, but they'll never do it to the extent that women do. Never. Women get crazy with it. And the powers that be know this is harmful to women, even here in America, yet they're letting it go down. Why? For the money. Number 4, social media use increased desire for cosmetic surgery. We know that's the case. BBLs, lip fillers, nose jobs, breast jobs. We know that's the facts, yo. We know that's the facts. Right? In 2010, a study examined 600 Dutch adolescents between 11 and 18 years old and found social media use was associated with an increased desire for cosmetic surgery. That's crazy, man. From 11 to 18-year-old, these girls, just going back to 2010, they knew this. This is insane, bro. You know what I mean? Night is just like they thrive in chaos. That was something we was talking about earlier. Brother Hayoka, a young man was on his way to school and a group of guys told him, "You think you're smart with your book," and threatened him. Yeah, you always had that kind of bullying. You know what I mean? Like where I grew up, it was bullying, whatever. I was known for being smart, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I would do my best to hide it. Teacher would call on me to ask me to answer to something, and I would purposely tell her the wrong answer sometimes because I didn't feel like hearing it from these other dudes. You get tired of having to fight, bro. Like it's like, man, whatever. You just get tired of having to fight. Luckily, I was somewhat good. I was an athlete too. So I was able to play on sports, you know what I mean, playing volleyball in elementary school. I never liked basketball because I was always tall. I hated basketball. They kept pushing me to it, and I didn't want to do that. But, football, volleyball, baseball, I made the teams. You know what I mean? But I would hide my intelligence. I would hide the fact that I knew things because I just didn't want to deal with dudes coming at me. I just get tired of it. Brother, okay, attention is the coin of the realm. It definitely is. Man, Four, one of my favorite legs is in the house. What's good? Man, just sitting here talking about growing up stuff, man. Talking about kids, talking about being parents, talking about the pressures and everything associated with it. Talking about, how we getting our kids high. We letting our kids become stupid. We're not holding our kids responsible for anything. We just talking about this sort of stuff. I know you still young, bro. Don't have any kids, man. Before you have kids, man, for real, find you a woman, be married first, get that going first. If you trying to have kids, do it under wedlock if you can, bro. If you can. And if you can't, just do the best you can. Try to co-parent, bro. But I'm here to tell you, man, this shit is crazy, man. Man, Four, shaking my head. Can't be smart around black folks, and they want everyone else like them to fix, the community. Yeah, bro. I mean, and it's not just black folks when you really look at it, though, man. Like, I knew Italians, dude. I knew dudes who came up in Italian communities, smart as hell, bro. But they wanted to be cool. You had to be cool. You had to be gangster to an extent. So everybody was trying to be gangsters like that, and all the bad neighborhoods, bro. White people, black people, Italian people, Latinos. It's really a social economic thing, bro. It's not so much like all black people just. It's true about our community, but it's also true about the Italian community, about the Latino community. You know what I mean? The Armenian community, they really, really, really prize academics. They really prize, like you got to know your shit, but you also got to be gangster. So it ain't like you getting away from it. Them was some of the smartest gangsters I ever came across in my life. Shout out to Armenia Power, man. Shout out to the Armenians out there. Shout out to Glendale. You know what I mean? What's up, bros? I see y'all out there, man. Shout out to them. I mean, some of the most diabolical gangsters in my life, they knew everything, bro. from classic literature to ballet to modern warfare to ancient Rome. They knew it all, bro. They was all about getting good grades. Straight up gangsters, man, getting A's and B's in school. And in them streets, bro, be rushing to school to take a test, man. They strapped from the things they was just doing. Me going here real quick, take this test, and then it's back to the streets. It was blew my mind. Hey, these Armenians out here on the honor roll out here. You know what I mean? Straight gangsterism out here, getting on the honor roll. That's the only community that I know that they put value in education and knowledge and wisdom. Maybe that goes on in the Asian communities. Maybe it goes on with the Japanese, Korean, Thai, Vietnamese. I don't know. I wasn't rocking in those communities like that. I didn't get welcomed into those communities like that. But the Armenian community, I got to get a look at that. A good look. Gangsters, straight gangsters on some top level shit. All of them smart, speaking multiple languages, owning businesses before they're 30. You know what I mean? Owning multiple businesses and properties and car. Bro, shout out to the Armenians. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's not just the black thing, man. Like it's a social economic thing. It's an American thing. Americans just don't pride. We don't put any honor or respect into academics and wisdom and knowledge. We just don't. It's a damn shame. Number 5, brain activity changes with likes. Back to this Forbes article. Brain activity changes with likes. And we're talking about females mostly, but I'm sure it's, this also affects men. And Brother Mike said likes are free. And indeed they are. One study conducted a brain fMRI study of adolescents to examine their brain activity associated with Instagram likes. The fMRI is a type of imaging that can pinpoint the changes in blood flow in different parts of the brain and can indicate the location of brain activity. The participants exhibited greater brain activity when they were shown photos with more likes than their own photos received likes. When their own photos received likes, the brain reward center was activated. So when their own photos received likes, their brain reward center got active. It was activated. The researchers concluded a like is a social cue specific to adolescents' cultural sphere. And adolescents use this cue to learn how to navigate their social world. So for young kids, when they got their picture up and they see a like, it's like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And it lights that part of their brain up. Right? The reward center, like, yes, I'm doing good. Yes, I'm doing good. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And they're going to do more of it. So when they don't get the likes, it's like, that must be wrong. That's not what this is crazy, yo. Again, this is something that they know. This ain't new. They've been knowing this. Number 6, drive for thinness increase with Instagram use. And again, this is in women. This article is about how Instagram negatively affects young girls. The drive for thinness. In particular, this study found that viewing appearance-focused photos, models, fitness bloggers resulted in an increased drive for thinness. Viewing other types of posts did not have the same impacts. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. There it is for you right there. When you have that drive to be thin, what do? You're going to do all kind of things to hurt yourself to get there, right? You know what I mean? It's going to be some malnutrition in there. There's all kind of things that we know young girls were already doing before social media. They're just going to be doing it more, right? I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube. I don't know if it's one of those magic words to get you shut down, so I don't want to say it. You know what I mean? Manipulation of photos is a problem for body image. A study entitled Picture Perfect, The Direct Effect of Manipulated Instagram Photos on Body Image in Adolescent Girls, published in 2016. Again, look when it is 2010, 2012, 2016. Found that the manipulation of Instagram posts had a negative impact on adolescent girls. Since photos these days are easily manipulated, right, with all of the apps, right, the filters and all that, this study investigated the impact of viewing Instagram photos of peers that were manipulated to remove eye bags, wrinkles, impurities, and to reshape legs to be thinner and the waist to be slimmer. Results show the exposure to these manipulated Instagram photos directly result in decrease in one's own body image. So it's like these kids can't tell the difference between the fake that they seeing on social media, on Instagram, and the reality of what it really is. You know what I mean? So you see what I mean? These kids are having a hard time. Again, they're young, their brains are developing, man. They're under these pressures that are just unnecessary, right? Social media. And the big thing is these companies know what they are doing. Number 8, social media literacy intervention can help teenage girls avoid eating disorders. So, okay, so this intervention can help, right? The research link between eating disorders and social media is so well established that researchers are already examining solutions. One group found that an intervention that taught young girls about social media and its risks resulted in a reduction in the risk of eating disorders. That's a good thing. They need to do more of that, especially if they're going to increase the use of social media. Those who compare themselves with others at greatest risk. Several studies indicate those who engage in social comparison, compare themselves to others, are at greatest risk for the negative outcomes associated with social media use. That's every woman, bro. Not just the girls, just the grown, that's the full grown-ups. Man, I'm telling you, women are looking at women. They are competing with each other. That's why these filters are so popular. That's what they're doing. It's all about the competition, and it's hurting them. It's hurting the young girls the most, but it's hurting the old women as well, older women. Number 10, self-deletion thoughts linked to social media use. One review of nine studies on social networking and self-deletion found online social networking also leads to increased exposure and engagement in self-harm behavior due to users receiving negative messages promoting self-harm. Yeah. All right. Emulating self-injuries, behaviors, or others, like those people who cut themselves and all that kind of stuff, right? And adopting self-harm practices from shared videos. And I'm not sure if which one of these words, again, I'm trying to avoid these magic words that get you in trouble on YouTube. I don't know what they are. Greater time spent on social networking websites lead to higher psychological distress. right? An unmet need for mental health support, poor self-rated mental health, and increased self-deletion. This is something we all know. People, they watch this stuff, they feel bad about themselves, they want to hurt themselves. I mean, we know that. I mean, but they got the studies to back it up, and they've had these studies. Right? And here's number 11. Reducing social media reduces loneliness and depression. I didn't even know this. So less social media is good. More social media is bad. One set of researchers had a group of university undergraduates reduce their social media use for 3 weeks. A control group did not reduce their social media use. The group that reduced their social media presence were less lonely and depressed compared to the control group. This is just a small sample of the studies that have been completed on this topic. Given the number of young Instagram users, it's time to start discussing these issues. According to the Wall Street Journal, 22 million U.S. teens use Instagram each day, and more than 40% of Instagram users are 22 years old and younger. It's important that we use all available resources to fully understand social media's effects on their well-being, right? And that's pretty much how that one ended. And here's the thing. They've known for decades that social media is bad. Instagram in particular is bad, and it's bad for young girls. That whole article, that Forbes article, was about the negative effect of Instagram on young women. Not social media, just Instagram on young women. Man. And they don't care. Why? Because it's bread. They making money, man. They rather make money. We won't even protect the most protected group in America. They're not even going to protect them. They're just, oh, well, they're just one of those things. Wonderful 34s in the house. What's good, fam? What up, people? What's up to you? Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming through, man. So your approach, your support is always appreciated, bro. It's always good. I hope you had a good holidays, man. I hope everything is rocking. I wish you and everyone in here, I wish all y'all, man, a very happy new year that we're coming up on New Year's, bro. I wish everybody a very happy new year. Mad 4, glad I dropped going on Instagram and Facebook. Time wasters and slowly becoming obsessive over other people's lives. Yes. Have too much to do, and most people are fake. That's absolutely facts, young brother. Get out there and get it, man. Make the money. If you got time to spend 6, 7, 8 hours on social media, that's another job you could be working. Getting that bread. You be doing something like this. You know what I mean? But this is what we're doing as parents, man. This is how we're setting our own kids up. This is how we're setting our own kids up, man. Which, again, we got to do better. We got to do better. And I wanted to talk about participation trophies. Right? All this comes into play, bro. All this comes into play. Participation trophies, man. Drug use, social media, putting our kids in front of screens and stuff like that. Not monitoring what they're doing. All that comes into play, man. No accountability. All that comes into play. All of it. Right? And this is from the Washington Times. How participation trophies corrupted Americans' culture. Right? This is just an opinion piece. It's just an opinion piece. It's a pretty quick one, but I think we should talk about this. And this was March of this year, 2022. New Year's almost over. So that when I was a child, I was really bad at sports. All of them. I learned how truly awful I was at athletics because I never won anything for my participation in them. Academics was a completely different situation. I did well, and most of the children who were good at sports did not. And we all recognize this because I garnered recognition, and they did not. It's such a simple social structure that America used to have. And this is real talk. They must be my age. Whoever wrote this is probably my age, in their 50s. Reward children for being good at stuff. Don't reward children for not being good at stuff. Yeah, this is definitely someone my age. This is definitely a Gen Xer. I guarantee you this is a Gen Xer. You know what I mean? We got Sister Candace in the house. What's good, love? Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Happy holidays to you. I don't think I've even talked to you since we've had Christmas, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So this is so basic. We reward children for being good at stuff. Don't reward children for not being good at stuff. This is basic. Like, well, why would we even talk about this kind of thing? But that's where we are right now with participation trophies. Everybody gets a trophy. There are no losers. Bullshit. There are losers, right? There are losers. It's hard to be a winner. So it continues. This stopped happening because the left didn't want to risk hurting anyone's feeling, and the results of this are now the bane of our everyday lives. I gotta agree with that. Or whether it came from left, I know a lot of people on the right. You know what I mean? This particular author of this opinion piece said it's the left. This may make a lot of people mad, but I think it's a lot of men and women out there who are just soft. There are women out there who don't want to see their kids cry because they couldn't make the squad, and there are men out there who are soft and they don't want to see their kids cry because their kids couldn't make the squad. So I just put it on soft because I'm not gonna blame the left or the right. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna blame men or women. I'm gonna blame the soft people. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do that. So the participation trophy generation now believes that they're right and significant all the time because they were never told otherwise. This hasn't just shifted culture. It might have just irreparably damaged it. As adults, instead of participation trophies, people are rewarded with a tolerance of nonsense that would have never occurred at any previous time in American history. I believe in every single word that they just said right there, because that's all you're doing. You're making these people think they're great. They're not. They're soft losers. There's no greater evidence for this culture shift than the profession of journalism. At one point, it was one of the only means that we would be able to learn without the world and its happenings. Did I read that right? At one point, it was one of the only means that we would be able to learn about the world and its happenings. We trusted, perhaps foolishly, that those in the field were working hard to actually bring us critical information. And it's very easy to observe the obvious biases that have been seen in the reporting of science and politics in our recent past. We should really step back and look at what overall emptiness our society is giving credence to. Right? Vice.com is a great place to turn to if you want to lose most of your hope and future of humanity. While some of his articles and documentaries have been incredibly informative and powerful, it also gives a platform for what can be best described as writers' self-satisfying jargon about common topics. That's real talk. That's real talk. One such piece that caught my attention was covering a brand new concept they labeled racial monogamy. What exactly is racial monogamy? According to the author, it's monogamy, but with about 1,000 words of gender studies nonsense attached to it. So I don't want to get more into it, but y'all get where it's coming from, right? Y'all definitely see where it's coming from. People don't really care about the truth. People want to feel good. They don't want to feel bad. They don't want, you know what I mean? Because the story goes on, but Brother Hayoka's in the back and he's ready to jump on here and hit us with some real facts about what we're talking about. But we all get the premise of this, right? We reward people for being shit. We tell people who are losers that you're just as good as the winners. No, you are not. Right? We can't keep doing this, y'all. We cannot keep doing this. I refuse to get into sports and she's on a team and they come in like 50th place and they give her a participation trophy. I'm like, nah, leave it there. You ain't taking that. You ain't did nothing. You don't reward it for losing. You want a trophy, first, second, or third place. Gold, silver, bronze. You don't bring home something that says I lost. You think we're going to celebrate that. Now, we ain't putting that on the refrigerator. You lost. You know what I mean? We got like Brother Hayok in the house, man. We're going to let him cook. Because the brother always comes through, man, and drops the much needed knowledge, man. Brother Hayok, how you feeling, bro?
And how are you today?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right, man. Just chilling. We gonna finish up. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's one of those shows like I'm gonna get on here for about 45 minutes or an hour, and I'm just gonna whatever. Here we are, hour and a half in. So, but I really wanted to talk about this stuff because we really need to hear this, man. So I saw you were chomping at the bit, man. You wanted to get in here, bro. You in here, man. So what's good? What's on your mind?
Because there's a time in our lives when we're growing up that our brains are configured for like maximum learning, and it starts to prune itself about 2 o'clock, between the ages of 2 and 10, especially the visual cortex where you're viewing things. Around 6 years old, that starts to take place. But we're being exposed to these things earlier, and you get the dopamine squirts, and you get the all the conditioning coming at you as a child. And so, as you pointed out, everybody gets an award by the time. But then real life sets in, and you realize that all those awards, you get a sense of entitlement because you receive rewards all your life. But when you get a certain point, the real world steps in and says, "Well, we're not going to give you a reward for that. You might have done that all for school." But now, when you get to the job market, they say you failed, and you think that you should get a reward. As soon as you do that, you will have anger issues because you'll be like, "Well, I'm entitled to it. I've gotten a reward
Right.
all these up." It's just like I had to tell somebody one time. I said, better to fight the battle than have to fight the war. Sometimes you can prevent just by doing something small, you can prevent something large. But because of the entitlement of everybody gets a reward, everybody gets a trophy. By the time you get out of school, the expectation is that I should be getting a reward. I should be getting a trophy for mediocre work. It might not even be mediocre, but the expectation is there because of the conditioning. So you automatically have a problem going on with that. And this is happening not only just at the behavioral level, it's also happening at the mental level, the cognitive level. Just a take on it.
That's a great take. I mean, and again, it all boils down to parents trying to do what they think is best for their children and protect them from every single thing that life will throw at them. And in the process, they're hurting their children because they're not properly preparing them for the world we live in. They're preparing them for a world that doesn't exist. Well, in a perfect world, everyone would get a trophy. That's not the world we live in. And to your point, they go their whole lives getting participation trophies and dealing with these bulldozer parents or helicopter parents that we read those things about helicopter parenting and all that, right? Their brains are not really formed properly because they're high, because mommy and daddy been getting them Vicodin since they was born and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then they're on these video games with this, you know what I mean? And they're hooked on all this stuff. And it's like, well, what do you mean I'm not good enough? You didn't do the work. You failed.
And then on top of that, the school system might label your kid ADHD real quick, depending upon how your child reacts to the system. And now you got that coming at you too. So they want to go ahead.
They will label your children with whatever they can label your children with. Why? First, they're going to get more money from the federal government, right? The more kids they have labeled on with these magic labels, the more money, the more funding they get, the more kickbacks they get. So, yeah, they're definitely going to label your kid something, right? They did that with my daughter. You're going to go see somebody, you're going to pay for all these tests if you can afford it, and you're going to get exactly what you pay for. Your child has this, that, and the third. Now, it's not your kid's fault that they don't want to do their homework. Now it's not your kid's fault that they refuse to study, right? It's like, no, you're getting bad grades because you have this fill in the blank of whatever bullshit they tell you. And it's like you took all these tests and they did all these things. It's all bullshit. And it's just parents who are just like, it's not my child. Some of us have kids who just aren't that smart. They're going to have to work harder at certain things, right? But that kid who's not that smart, that kid, their common sense might be off the chart. That kid might be an athlete beyond, reproach. It's going to be something else that they're good at.
But it also
go ahead.
It also dovetails with something that you said earlier, that you said on a number of occasions when you say don't be weird. If all you do is social media for long periods of time, okay, meeting somebody in person is a totally different thing. And the cues that you would ordinarily get from interacting actually with people, being facial expressions, micro expressions, where you say, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that or something like that. You don't get that in social media. So because you're not getting the feedback, by the time you get to a certain age, if you've been doing it for a very long time, it makes it harder for you to understand where other people are coming from. So for guys, especially, if you're doing it, because girls by default tend to be more social than guys.
Yes.
So for guys, it makes it way harder, especially coming up, being exposed to social media, not having the feedback of, oh, well, this is what was said, but this is actually what was meant.
Right. Or not being able to read the room. If you walk in the room and you can't read basic social cues, people gonna look at you like something wrong with you. Like, no, it's not me. I have this thing. I went to the doctor. They say I have this thing. You know what I mean? So again, it's a way of saying that there's nothing wrong with little Bobby. There's something wrong with all of us. But these parents are like, no, my kid is perfect. No, your kid is not. No one's child is perfect. Prepare them for this world, though. You can do that. Get them ready for this world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just as crazy as hell. Cody is Kings in the house. What's good, fam? How you doing? Good to see you. See.
Sorry.
Yeah, it said Cody is King says the whole concept of having kids site in one spot and be sedentary all day is a dumb idea regardless. Yeah, have them all sat in one. But you talking about the way we raise, the way we educate our kids. Yeah, bro, having them just sit there and then you give the boys drugs because they want to run around and you give them drugs so they don't want to run out. Again, while their mind is developing, while their bodies are developing, that's how little boys are. They want to get out there. You're right, bro. You're right. Well, go ahead, Brother Hayek. You want to say something?
Not only do they not want to get around boys, but boys want to explore the environment and things like that. If you tap that down, then what happens is a part of their development is stunted. So you're looking at guys growing up, and then you wonder, well, what happened? Well, by the time between the social media, making it so that you're not dealing with people, and them giving you the chemicals in order to make it so that you don't, then the sedentariness of it all, you're by the time you come out the box, you might have some issues, some real great emotional issues, let alone mental and cognitive.
Yeah. And back to the title, have we curated a Generation Zombie? Like, Brother Hayoka, what are your thoughts on that? Have we curated Generation Zombie, and what are our options moving forward?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people don't want to think. A lot of people don't want to put any energy into it. It's just way too much energy to think. And because they don't want to think, what happens is, in a way, they are zombies. It's just a body moving around. And so, what happens is that not only is it just a body moving around, it's the problem is that a lot of the basic things that we would otherwise use for, sorry about that. A lot of the things that we would basically otherwise do as males, especially as far as the environment, we no longer do. And so, I'm sorry, I got a puppy who wants to play. But what happens is that I think that the solution is not just one phase. See, when you think about what's going on, this is happening at every level, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. And so the response has to be in the same vein, that you have to you have to affect this at various levels in order to make changes. So it's not just a one-shot deal, because adolescents, their minds are still growing. Just like when you're a child, you have no psychological defenses, and when you get to be an adult, then you might not have any social skills or things like that. So there's a multi-pronged effect that you have to do with this. Sorry.
It's all good. But, and you got a good point. I mean, because obviously I agree we have created Generation Zombie. We have created Generation Zombie. So people are like, well, what do we do? There's going to be a lot of things we have to do. We're going to have to look at our laws. We have people out here who are committing these laws, or committing crimes, breaking the law, because they think they're entitled to certain things and they can get away with it. You look at what's going on in California. If you go into a retail store and you steal merchandise under a certain dollar amount, I think it's $900, then they're not going to hold you account as a felon. They're going to look at it as a misdemeanor, and basically the police aren't even going to investigate it, right? That is insane. That is not what we should be doing, right? You got people out here, again, these people feel like, well, I'm entitled. People who feel like the government owes me a home because I'm homeless. Government don't owe you jack. You know what I mean? So it took us generations to get to this point where we have these zombies. It's going to take us generations to get away from it.
That's
right.
true.
As parents, we got to start from the home and instill in these kids real values. First of all, we got to let these kids get hurt, scrape their knees up, get out there, fall down, get back up, hold them accountable. You know what I mean? When they do stuff wrong, all that good stuff. That's one way of making things better moving forward, but that's going to take time. In the short term, you know, back to what I was saying about these laws, we're going to have to figure out a way to, instead of incarcerating these people, we take them into custody and make them work and re-educate these people, actually teach them what their parents failed to teach them. They are going to have to unlearn all this stuff. Hey, mommy and daddy was wrong. There are losers, and right now you are losing, right? And we're going to, maybe maybe it's a world in which we kind of hold mommy and daddy accountable for what they did. Hey, you know, your child, your grown child committed this crime and they, you know, burglarized somebody's house, so we're going to go ahead and take $10,000 from you. You owe $10,000 of the restitution that your kid owes. You know what I mean? So maybe we got to do something like that.
Well,
because go ahead.
All right. And thinking about what you're saying, you learn more from your failures than you do from your victories. If everybody
if you allow yourself to.
Yeah, if you allow yourself to. If you're always winning, then what happens is you don't get the feedback as to what you want, how to correct yourself. And as you pointed out, it's like you're looking at these adults, and the adults are thinking, you know, I don't need to train my mind. The new thing that a lot of people are going to be missing out on, and this is like in relationship to the zombie generation, is simply this: that every 10 years you're going to have to retrain for whatever you want to do in whatever field that you want to be in. If the foundation is faulty, because all these times you've been getting this feedback that you're great, that you're doing what's appropriate, and you're not, then when you hit that wall and you have to make these adjustments, it's going to be so much harder in your life. Brother, I think it was Brother Cody who said, you know, being in the sedentary classroom, in certain methods of teaching, like the Montessori method, you do go out and you explore the environment and you learn and you increase your abilities to your general gifts. If you look at a lot of people in a lot of industries, they went through Montessori schools where their individual gifts were enhanced. They were encouraged. When you go into the production school system, it's no good for you. So that doesn't teach you how to think. That teaches you how to work. Remember, it's for the industrial age. Then you have social media. Then you have the pharmaceutical industry having a hand in it. They want a hand in it. This is why we have these epidemics and things like that. Everybody's making money from the medical doctors who prescribe these opioids to the opioid companies. And so, like you said, because there's so many angles coming at you from so many directions, because it's a coordinated effort, then you have to have a coordinated effort to protect your child as best you can.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think there's a lot to do with our educational systems, and we have the academics and the smart people are trying to do what they can and all these titles and stuff like that. My thing is this: do what works. I don't care which one of those systems work, but we're trying to have this, you know what I mean, this one size fits all kind of approach to education. well, maybe we should break that shit up a little bit. Or here the kids are not gonna, these kids aren't going to Harvard or Cornell, but man, they can really work on engines. They're really good with their hands. Like, bring back the whole shop stuff and all that. There's certain kids that, they thrive in that. There are other kids who are academics. There are other kids who can sit around and think about Einstein's work and improve on that. There are other, they get athletes. I think we should figure out what works best and have more options than the way we do it now. You know what I mean? Is that a complete answer? No. You know what I mean? But, there are people well above my pay grade that can sit down in a room and hopefully figure something out. Even if it was just like 3 choices. Or you can enroll your kid over here, you can read your kid over there or over there. And I'm not talking about the vouchers and all that. I'm just talking about as far as the educational system. What system does your kid thrive in? And that we should be doing that type shit.
Can I make a thought on that, in the sense of saying that there's a Professor Howard Gardner who said that there might be up to maybe 6 or 7 individual intelligences within the human brain. And so you find that people are pretty good at one thing or another. And so this is why we're not all gifted equally. As you pointed out, when they took shop out of the school, they took out the ability to think with your hands. If you think about it, there's 3 ways of thinking: visual, audio, and kinesthetic, which means touching things. They took that out of the school, the touching thing part. And so what happens is, especially for men, because we explore the environment, we like to touch and manipulate. That affected a lot of guys.
Yep.
You didn't have woodworking, you didn't have metal shop, automotive, things that would force you to use your hands and think it through, to be able to visually see it. Because even today, what happens is we don't think about it, but we still count with our fingers, even though we generally don't. We say we don't, but naturality in our brain, it does. So what happens is that, as you pointed out, because of the differences in our different gifts and things like that, it should be pushed that your learning style, the way you learn and what you need to learn to enhance your personal gifts. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a standard for everybody, because you're gonna have to have a standard so that we can say, well, we know that you have this level of understanding. Okay, you can at least do this. Okay, but whatever your personal gifts are, whether it's being able to sit, because I can honestly tell you, some people, they can listen to a lecture and understand it. Some people can see it and understand it, and some people have to put their hands on it. If they can't put their hands on it, it's hard for them to understand.
And these are the conversations they need to be having at school boards across America. Like, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. And if we can get to a point where at least we have these 3 different routes, maybe that's the way they had these conversations. But I don't think we'll ever get there. Brother Cody is king. I believe it's a zombie generation. People walk around staring at their phones and only know, do, and think what they are told. Facts. Sister Candace, incarceration was never about rehabilitation. You're right. It's all about numbers. You know what I mean? And it's Casual Germ. You a fool, bro. Casual Germs in the house. What's good? I'm going to Cali. I need a PS5. If you can find one, bro. You know what I mean? California is a wreck right now. And what's scary is people keep talking about their current governor is running for president of the United States. Like, he'll be a good president. Like, y'all must be out y'all mind. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, I do believe that Generation Zombie is a problem. They don't even realize they have it. That's another thing too. Like, these people are addicts and don't even know it. Like, they need to be taught what their problem is. Like, yo, we got a problem here. So that's going to be part of the solution. That's going to be part of the fix. Outside of that, man, like, this is nothing's gonna. We didn't get here overnight, and we're not gonna fix this overnight, right? So things are gonna get a lot worse before they get any better. And you guys are gonna see what it means with this Generation Zombie thing, man. As the economy continues to go through this recession, Wall Street is down. People are starting to really realize, okay, we're in a thing here. The housing market is topsy turvy right now. Is down. Bro, Tesla way down. I'm just looking at, like, Procter & Gamble was down today. I'm just looking at what's going on. I'm like, wow.
You follow the market?
Go ahead.
You follow the market?
A little bit. Like, I'm not a big, I'm not a big guy. Like, I have some stuff just tied, my retirement stuff like that. But I'm just looking at it right now, and I'm learning, and the market's going to do what it's going to do. It's going to be a rough year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then on the other side, it's going to be stupid crazy. But until then, you know what I mean? Like just watching this, but it's going to affect the job market. It's going to affect, like, people are starting to get laid off. More people are going to get laid off. It's going to be a lot of pain out there. And these are the same folks who's like, well, why are you laying me off? I'm the best. No, you're not the best. Now it's back to being who is the best, who works hardest, who's been here working, continuing to work, being an asset to the corporation. Those are the people who are going to get to stay. And those other people who are like, I want to work from home and complaining all the time and running to HR every chance they get, right? They're gone, right? And people they're not going to understand that. Why? Because mommy said I'm the best. I've always gotten the participation award. Well, we working now. I can't just give you money for nothing. But Americans are used to that too, in the form of STEMI checks. They're used to that too, in the form of assistance. So, the hard times is coming, y'all. So, final thoughts on this, brother Hayoka. What are your final thoughts on Generation Zombie?
I think that it is being promoted, because what happens is that if you ever notice, every 4 years, nobody remembers what happened the previous 4 years. It's so that you don't think about the election cycles. And if you're not thinking, then what happens is that you do as you're told. And so you will vote when we tell you to vote, and you will vote who we tell you to vote for. And you will think what we tell you to think. And so it's not a good thing. The one problem that's going to happen is simply this, is that the people in the know are going to force themselves out of that mold. And the people who don't know are going to be caught up in it. To give an example, coming down the pike is going to be electric vehicles. They're putting in charging stations all over the place. So if you buy a new car that's an internal combustion engine, let's say in 2030 or so, okay, gas prices are going to be through the ceiling, because they're not the Saudis are getting out of gas and everything else. But unless you educate yourself to know these things, you won't know that you're going to buy this car and you're going to be stuck with the payments, even though everything's going to be high and related to it. So it has practical applications. You getting your education on a continuous basis to make it so that you're not caught in the rut of being a zombie. Because if you think about it, that's what a zombie is, a body that just walks around. I guess that's it. Thanks.
Facts. I appreciate that, bro. I do appreciate it, man. I love every time you come up, man. Like I said, we still got that show we waiting on. I'm just waiting for the new year to get started. That's gonna be a great way to kick off the new year. You know what I mean? So that's brother Hayoka, man. Appreciate that. We'll see you soon, bro. And tell the puppy I said hi.
Thank you. And tell your daughter I'm glad that she got better.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna holler at you, man. Peace.
Peace.
And yeah, brother Hayoka has a good point. Generation Zombie is here, y'all. And it's like what brother Cody was saying. They just walk around already. They're zombies already. They walk around staring at their phones. They only know, do, and think what they are told. Facts. Facts. You know what I mean? I couldn't say it better myself. The smart man, the wise man and woman, the person who is well read, the person who's able to communicate and talk with others. These people can see the storm coming. Therefore, you can prepare. Point blank, period. If you see what's going on, if you read, none of this information is kept from you. This is the most informed society ever when it comes to like freedom of information. It's out there. People choose not to read it. People choose not to participate. And then they get wrecked. And then what? They cry. And it's like, mommy and daddy said this, mommy and daddy said that. Well, mommy and daddy ain't there no more. Now what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So, yeah, y'all, Generation Zombie is here. If you dealing with a zombie in your circle, either get them squared away, educate them, let them know what's going on. And if you fail to do that, then get rid of them. Because now they're just dead weight. Right? It's here, y'all. We got to get lean. We got to get mean. We got to get ready. It's coming. Only the smart, only the wise, only the strong will survive this. Right? That gap, the have yachts and the have nots is only getting greater. Shout out to Andrew Tate. He says that all the time. It's not about the have and have nots. It's the have yachts and the have nots. There's money out there to be made, people. but you got to be smart. You can't be a zombie dependent upon society and the kindness of others so you can make it. You can't. So those are my final thoughts on that. Sister Candace, I will not be purchasing an electric vehicle. There are so many infrastructure grid issues in this country. No, thank you. Right. I feel you on that. But at some point, and here's again, like with someone like Sister Candace, at some point, she will. This is a learned woman. This is a woman who reads, who pays attention to what's going on. It's like, yeah, I live in the boondocks. If I buy an electric vehicle, I'm hurting myself. There's no place to charge it here, wherever here is. But if you're in California, it kind of makes sense if you stand in California, but if you want to go to Vegas, you know what I mean? You got to be careful what vehicle you buy. What kind of range does that vehicle have? You know what I mean? Like, where are you going to, how does maintenance work? What are you going to be needing to do? Like you said, there are not a lot of charging stations in most places. There are in certain places. So, yeah, I hear you on that, sis. You know what I mean? I ain't got no plans to buy one either. You know what I mean? Not in the short term. Long term, absolutely. I know combustible engine vehicles are going away. I know that's going to happen, right? And I'm pretty sure I will see a society where it's majority electric vehicles and hybrids out there than just all gas. I'm pretty sure I'll see that before I die. You know what I mean? But my daughter's children, they're not going to know what gas engines are. So I got to prepare my daughter for that world, not the world she's in, not the world as it should be, but the world that she's going to be in. And that's what I'm trying to do. So my daughter's not a zombie. It's hard work though, y'all, especially when you out here with all these daggone zombies. You know what I mean? So, Mad 4, that EV battery is going to cost you an arm and a leg when that battery goes bad. And yeah, possibly. And that's why you always buy warranty and stuff like that. But you're right. We got to do our research. But Generation Zombie is here, y'all. Generation Zombie is here. Prepare yourselves against it because they're not going to be any help. You're going to have to just do more of the heavy lifting. And for you parents out there, and for those of you who are thinking about being parents, we got to step up for our kids. Don't raise our kids to be these zombies, right? We got these kids out here going around talking about shaming is bad. Shaming is not bad. Look at Brittany Renner. Look at Brittany. She's all messed up now. If you guys haven't seen that Just Pearly Things interview with Brittany and Andrew Tate, you should check it out. It's very powerful. It's 3 hours, but it's very, very powerful. You know what I mean? Again, you want your children to be like that? Or do you want your children to be out here and being productive and being prepared for the world in which they live? I know which one I want. You know what I mean? And it's like, be careful what you put in your kids' hands. We putting these devices in our children's hands. And we're not properly preparing our kids for this. We haven't properly prepared and protected ourselves, our families against these devices, against these corporations. Instagram knows that their product is harmful to young women and to kids in particular, but they're still pushing forward, making billions. They don't care that it's hurting your daughter, that it's hurting your sister, that it's hurting your niece. They don't care. They're doubling down. They're making an Instagram just for kids. And drugs, for God's sakes, people, stop putting prescription level drugs in your kids because they knee hurts a little bit. It's called growing pains because they got a headache. So what? They should have ate earlier, right? Because they fell down and scraped their knee. Rub some dirt on it. That's what my father used to tell me. Ow, rub some dirt on it, boy. You be all right. Quit giving your kids prescription drugs. You are turning your children into zombies, into drug fiends. Look at what's going on in the Northeast with this fentanyl, opioid epidemic. How did these people get started? Their parents gave them the drugs. Think about that, y'all. Stop doing it. Parents, y'all need to step up. If we want it, what's the fix to Generation Zombie? Quit making zombies. Point blank, period. Life is hard. Life ain't fair. Life hurts. Let your kids know that. Right? At least that's what I got to say about that. What I know, I'm just an old man sitting in his attic talking to a computer. You know what I mean? Brother Hayoka and Sister Candace, The writing is on the wall. Global warming, notice the snowstorms and fires is forcing change. Absolutely. I get where he's coming from. Sister Candace, I've seen people bills online, and they are upwards of $20,000 to replace the battery. Yeah, it's coming, though, y'all. It's coming. All we got to do is stay on top of it. Sister Candace said, Brother Hayoka, so long as our infrastructure can accommodate the changes, we will have no choice but to adapt. However, we aren't there yet. Absolutely. It's coming. Nightish, because the plan is working. Weapons of mass distraction. Facts. It's wrong button. Facts. Nightish, you on fire tonight. You should have came up on the panel. I can't get my button near you. That's for you. Shout out to you. Facts. Smoke and mirrors. Weapons of mass distraction. Damn, that was facts. Brother Hayoka, but the entire point of the conversation is adaptation. Yeah, and Brother Hayoka, no one's arguing with you. We know it's coming. Electric vehicles are coming. We know it's coming. You know what I mean? You can jump on now, but if you get one, make sure you have a gas vehicle or at least a hybrid because of that. If you're driving across the country, you're out there doing whatever, there's a lot of places where you can't charge. The infrastructure just isn't there yet. It will catch up. And I think everyone in the chat could agree that's going to happen when it comes to EVs and all that. We know it's coming. You know what I mean? But back to the point of Generation Zombie. Quit making zombies, people. Let's get out here and do the work. It's hard being a parent. It's hard being in a committed relationship or marriage and stuff like that. Shit's hard as hell, right? For those who have managed to do it successfully, you know what I mean? Salute to you. But it is very difficult. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to fuck some shit up. And when they do, all you got to do is be there to pick up the pieces and get them sorted out. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. So appreciate y'all coming through and rocking with me, man. I'm DL Saint. This is DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. Thank each and every one of you for coming out and always support me. I really appreciate it. Me and Ty Barnett will be on tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're starting like a different type show. We're going to be talking about Hollywood and movie reviews and all that kind of stuff. We're going to see how that goes. Ty Barnett, established actor, comedian, one of the best stand-up comedians in the game right now. Go look him up. Go check out his credentials, y'all. He's a good friend of mine. And I always love working with him. So we wanted to do a show, and this is what we decided to do. First one's tomorrow, y'all, right here, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Pacific Time. And we're just going to have some fun talking about Hollywood and stuff like that, yo. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for rocking with me, y'all. I really, truly do appreciate it. I know every show is not going to be a home run, but these are the shows I like the most. We got to understand we are dealing with Generation Zombie. Let's go ahead and try to sort that out, people. Please. Brother Hayoka, Sister Candace, look up scamper, substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to other use, remove, or reverse. She'll look that up. And Sister Candace wrote the monetization. We're almost there. We're like 150 hours away. We're right there. We're right there, y'all. So like I said, by the end of this year, or definitely the first part of next year, within the first 2 weeks of next year, we'll be fully monetized. We'll be able to get super chats and all that good stuff. However long that process takes to get verified, it shouldn't take long at all. And Sister Candace, Brother Hayoka, will do, brother. Have a nice evening. All you guys have a nice evening. Thank you so much. Math Force Songs, my favorite legs. Do some push-ups, bro. Beat your face. Just start pushing until this show is over. I'm DL Saint. This is DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.